Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler, the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the Tea Minus. Masters.com tea boutique. Welcome to my commencement speech, or to a class, or to some tea. I don't know exactly what kind of class it's going to be, but I hope you'll be entertained, because yesterday I attended the graduation of my son. He graduated from college yesterday from his in his chemistry department. So we had the privilege of seeing this whole ceremony and listening to several professors making speeches. And since this is also the end of the semester for us, we do a couple of more classes, I think, until end of June. But we are also in this season where it's time to reflect a little bit on the semester that has passed and the changes that have happened in our world. So I wanted to share some of the ideas that I gathered from these commencement speeches, which I find very often interesting. And the first idea was the idea of legacy. A professor shared that he attended a symposium, conference with some really big shots in the scientific world. This is a professor from the National Taiwan University, the top university in Taiwan, where my son is graduating. And so he shared the thought and the speech of even more prestigious scientific mind. And for this scientist, he said, oh, people were asking him, oh yeah, he was about to retire, what is your legacy? And this scientist did not think of his legacy as of the publications, of the research and the books he had written. For him, the legacy that he was to leave to this world was the students that he had taught. And I found this thought quite interesting in our tea class, because it shows also that for him the most important is not so much the pure knowledge, but the applied knowledge. The students that you have taught you taught them not just maybe with pure knowledge, but also with a little small advices here and there, maybe some character. You help them forge, you help them overcome some problems, give them confidence, maybe become better people, and make hopefully a lot of good positive decisions in the future and helping make the world a better place. So I found this idea quite powerful, that it's the legacy of even a scientist is not necessarily his pure knowledge that he has managed to write down, but that the students actually, and what they have learned from him, they continue to live thanks to him, and continue his work on Earth. So I thought that was a first interesting thought that makes me quite happy to do these classes. This is also my point, that you are also when you are making tea the way I've told you, you are helping to make tea enjoyment even more positive. You are able to better explain the joy that comes from tea, how to brew the tea, what's the relationship between the tea and the teaware. All this little knowledge that I try to tell again and again and again in these classes are something that is that will continue to live thanks to all the students that are learning from these classes. So this was also this is already a first big thanks out to you to when you are coming to these classes. You are participating in a larger movement and making this world a better place in the field of tea, but it could be in any field as long as we are learning. So also long-term learning is a really good thing. I'm starting to feel dry, so what's the best thing to do is to have some tea. And one of the very best tea we can think of in Taiwan is Darjeeling. Here I'm taking Darjeeling 95K. Well, it's almost too much. It's the evening, that's enough. And in order to brew it well, we have to get the leaves to unfurl and dance first. Voila. Dance, dance, dance. Once they are not dancing anymore in a circle, we can help those at the bottom to come up and also dance a little bit. Et voilà. And again, since these leaves are very tightly rolled, we can see it from their size, very different sizes. Some are very small and some are much larger. This is also a good sign. It's a sign that this is really indeed a young plantation where leaves are quite uneven in terms of size, also in terms of color, meaning some are more in the shade, some have more sunshine. A good environment, and this tea should not be overbrewed because we want to get the finer aromas from the leaves, but it needs to brew long enough so that the leaves open up. So this is really where we have to find the sweet spot, and therefore not having too many leaves also helps one to unfurl and not to be too nervous about the concentration, that it should not be too strong. So if you have fewer leaves, the sweet spot is will last longer. Voilà. Wait. Nice color between yellow and green. Great smell. So this is really one of the, usually in Darjeeling, the higher the better. And again, this year, indeed, 104K is again much better than the others Darjeeling. But this 95K really convinced me, and I found it to some extent even better than the 100K. So a very good new plantation high mountain oolong with an extra scent that feels almost like a perfume, and a very good harmonious balance between strength and lightness. That's also what is so interesting with these high mountain oolongs. They are able to balance these paradoxical characters, lightness in the sense, but power in the taste and aftertaste. The second thought that was interesting from this chemistry professor at the commencement speech was about AI. For him, the AI is going really to change a lot of things. He thinks that in 4 years, in the next students who will start to attend chemistry classes this year at the university, in 4 years their curriculum will be very different from what my son and his class has experienced because of AI. And the professors are almost a bit helpless and because they don't know all these transformations that are going to happen. Now, this is something that I had read and I had seen speeches about, but when it's the professor of your son that tells you this, and he's a professor at the most prestigious university in Taiwan, you really feel, that it's more concrete, that it is really happening now, because even this top professor feels that this new artificial intelligence is going to make so much change in the coming years that he cannot forecast them, and that he feels he tried his best to prepare the students for the coming changes, but to some extent that's all he can do, and he can now only hope for the best and see what is going to happen. So here in this regard, I think we are quite blessed in the tea field, because some things about the perception of tea is really very, very personal. AI might be able to summarize and imagine what tea tastes from the experience of many people. When it collects a lot of accounts from different people, he can maybe write quite nicely what tea might taste like, but actually AI is not able to taste the tea. It does not have this ability. So this is still something very personal. Also, AI does not have a will. It does not want things. It only will answer after you ask him. So you would have to ask him, for instance, what tea do you want? I think this he cannot know, because he does not want tea. He cannot enjoy tea. And if you ask, and in this you cannot replace. It's easier to answer yourself the question, what tea do I want, rather than ask AI, what tea should I drink now? It does not make so much sense. Tea is not so much a product of something you require, something you need. It's still a product of desire, something that you want. And for this, you have to learn to ask yourself, not to ask AI. Don't rely on, so we cannot rely on AI anyway for everything. We still have to learn to understand what we want to get out of the tea in order to know what we want. And in order to know which tea we want, it's good to get a large, broad experience of teas and be able to choose from a large selection. And indeed, hopefully it's a good selection of tea. This is what I try to provide. Let's continue with another thought that I found interesting. I see you have lots of questions already. I will come to them later on. Thank you very much. Give me a thumbs up if you find these thoughts interesting. Okay. Then what else? The next thought was, what is his advice to the students after all? And for him, something that students can do, and maybe what AI is not able to always to do, is problem solving. We are here for him on for this professor on Earth to solve other people's problems. So learning to solve problems is one of the skills that the professors have tried to teach to the students at the university. It gives them lots of mathematical tools, lots of theoretical tools in order for them to be able to solve very difficult problems, maybe even using computers, maybe even using AI in the future to solve, but see all this technology as tools to solve problems. So we can see everybody's job as a problem solver. So I'm thinking, what kind of problems am I trying to solve for you? First is, of course, getting access to teas that are not easily available in the West, because these are very fine teas, single batch, picked on a single day. Also give you all the information, the very detailed information about the cultivar, the picking day, the place it comes from, maybe sometimes some background about the plantation, the farmer, or the new technology that is used to make this tea, the changes that happen in the tea culture, in the tea agriculture in Taiwan. All this information that makes it more interesting and relevant to drink tea, and I hope also gives more pleasure. Also letting you better imagine what the tea field look like with drone shots that I made this year. And of course, with these classes, I try to help you solve the problem of how to make the best cup of tea for the different types of tea. I try to show you how I make them. I try to show you that it's possible to make them with a gaiwan. Yeah? No need for a fancy Yixing teapot if you want to make tea as beginner and understand tea. Porcelain gaiwan is a neutral tool that makes it possible to brew any kind of tea well. Of course, if you choose a very appropriate teapot, you can even make a better cup, but it's possible to make a very good cup with a simple gaiwan with any type of tea. Whereas if you don't choose your teapot well, you could ruin your tea if you have the wrong teapot. This is actually what happened with me before taking classes in Taiwan, and I was frustrated because I was not able to make a good tea just because I had purchased the wrong teapot for the particular tea that I wanted to drink. So by teaching you about tea, I think you are able to get more value out of the teas and solve the problem of how to make it worthwhile to acquire very rare and more valuable teas. Of course, it would be easier to buy cheap teas, but I think here then your level of satisfaction, of pleasure from the taste would be limited. Buying a higher quality of tea does not ensure that you will get a better, more pleasure or better smells, a better sense, but the potential is there, especially if you are learning with me how to make the tea well. Of course, there are other things I'm doing to solve other problems. The chabu that are exclusive to this store are also help to create a unique atmosphere, create a unique experience for each tea. So if you are able to change between different chabu for depending on the atmosphere that you want, if you feel warm, cold, maybe for the different seasons, for roasted tea, unroasted tea, depending on what kind of tea you like, there is always a more suitable chabu that will bring all your senses, thanks to the sense of view, into harmony. And I think this creates a more unique experience. It also helps to reduce the level of sound. You don't hear too much cling, 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 because the chabu absorbs the sound when you place the cup on the chabu. And if there are a few spillovers here and there, it will be absorbed by the fabric. So this is a very good accessory that solves lots of problems. Here again we are in the problem-solving part. Also providing small samples. When you buy from a farmer, to get the best price, you have to buy a large quantity. But if you want to learn, it makes sense to buy smaller quantities of different teas in order to get more experience and to be also able to vary the pleasures. This is also a kind of a problem I solve. Also, the best teas in Taiwan are really available from the farmer when they are made. Very quickly they then are sold to collectors, drinkers, or tea shops, and it's very more difficult then to get your hand on them. So I solve the problem of having these teas available during the whole year, because I go to see the farmers right away when the harvests happen. This is something that most people cannot do, because you have your job. I hope you are very good at your job, and I try to be very good at mine, selecting the best leaves so that you get them when you wish to place your order. And I think now, just after the harvest of spring, this is a good time to place the order, because lots of fresh high mountain oolongs and green tea like bilochun are best brewed now when it's getting warm in the months of June, July and August. Okay, I've started to put some water in the cups, because the silver kettle easily overheats. The less water there is in the kettle, the hotter it will become, and then when it comes out too hot, the flow is not even, and this is not so good for the. And the good thing is this helps to clean the cups and preheat them a little bit further. We continue to monitor the color a little bit. We pay attention to the tea in a time when we easily lose attention, because our mind is often drawn to our smartphone. It's a good exercise to be drinking tea and learn to single task with a clear mind. Now lastly, a thought that came up to me in conjunction with this commencement speech is that the nice thing with these studies and learning at the university is that all this knowledge is something that is shared, and it's really like more and more the trend in this new economy that with this knowledge economy, knowledge is not a zero-sum game, but the knowledge that the professor shares with the student is something that multiplies. And it's not because I give you knowledge that I lose that knowledge. Actually, I still have the knowledge, and now you also have the knowledge. So it's a win-win process. Of course, the person who is teaching needs to make a living. So my business model here is that I give you the knowledge for free, and that you make your orders on my website. And my idea by making this process like this is that since you have zero cost for the knowledge, this makes that you have a larger budget to order better teas. If you had spent all your or a large part of your budget for education on my class, then you would have a more limited budget for buying teas, and you would have to go for teas in maybe in a lower price level. This way, you are able to afford better teas because of the knowledge you have acquired on my blog or on my videos was given for free. So I hope that this business model will continue to work. Professors at the university, they are paid by the university, and they get it's part of the tuition that parents pay and the state subsidizes. But I try to think of this tea business that I'm doing also in terms of a new economy point of view, solving your problem and giving you the knowledge that I can for free, so that you are able to get the best leaves and then make the most out of them. So these were some thoughts that I learned and that came to me yesterday during this commencement speech. I hope you found them interesting. Let me read first the comments you already wrote, and if you have some more, you can write them. Oh, lots of comments. Thank you very much. Congratulations when you were so happy about his beginning his university studies. Yeah. Happy to be part of your legacy class. I started teaching a Master Ikebana class for my advanced students who have been practicing Ikebana in my studio with me as far back as 2005. Thank you very much for sharing this, Terry. Don't grade my Ikebana. This is not Ikebana. It's simply the flowers that we gave to our son yesterday for his graduation that we put in a vase in order to give them a new life. Elizabeth White, I am very touched by your thoughts today, and I'll have to take time to absorb. Through your love of tea and commitment to your work, you have taught me so much on many levels. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. She continues, I'll just add that your teas are so well selected and very pure. I feel that I'm drinking a liquid essence of nature. Thank you very much. Indeed, we have a few teas that are scented naturally with flowers in that section of scented teas, osmanthus and jasmine. But all the teas like this Darjeeling 95K seems unreal, almost perfume-like, but it's completely natural. Magic. We have Wade Putman, who also chimes in. Wade here, I think of the teachings Zach and I got to experience with fondness. I often think about using antique teaware in my brewing sessions. How do you think antique teaware affects tea? Thank you very much, Wade. Yeah, I remember your you coming with Zach to Taiwan and learning live with me. So antique, we have an antique ware here. For instance, this little plate, Celadon plate, is late Qing Dynasty. I love it very much. It's uneven. It has some defects, some spots here. It's not, yeah, some little defects here and there, but it feels really like a more natural than the perfect cups. The perfect Celadon cups have their use because they are very thin, so they're very fine on the mouth. But the imperfection of these older wares has a more natural feel. It feels more human. When it's too perfect, it sometimes feels a bit more cold, more distant. This guy one though is not actually is handmade, so actually it is also a little bit imperfect. The lid does not fit 100%. We have to find a little bit the right spot where it will fit. And it is painted by hand. This one is not that old. This one is really over 100 years old. So I love to use these older wares. If it's an I Ching, you have to be more careful and think about the relationship between the clay and the tea that you are brewing. But if it's simply a plate, there are less chances of making something wrong, or if it's a jar. Last week we had this grenade, I think I still have it here, this late Ming, early Qing Dynasty jar that used to be a grenade. So I love using these old teawares. It brings, yes, this depth. When people say, "Oh, tea is a 1,000-year-old culture," but everything is new on your in front of you. How do you show that it's really 100 or 1,000-year-old culture? Actually, having some older teaware is one of the ways to connect the past with the present, and I think this is what's a very nice way to get more depth in your and more meaning in your tea. So thank you very much for this nice question. Elizabeth writes, Osmanto, thank you, Terry. I was wondering about the flowers. I think it's Liz is a Terry, will you offer a selection for future live classes? Oh, my remote signal is breaking up. I will watch the replay later. For now we're a little bit close to the end of the semester. I think I will let you know what I will make for the early session in starting in September. Like every year we do a recess in July and August because I prefer that you go out and have tea outdoors than at home. So there should be some holiday, also a tea holiday, to make it more more meaningful to start again. I'm thinking actually, Terry, to make a class about Baozhong. We had Oriental Beauty, we had Hongshui Oolong, we had High Mountain Oolong, but I think what we could really do is to have a class about Baozhong when we start in the fall again. In the meantime, I will simply, in the next couple of classes, it's too short to start something new, but I will talk about the latest teas. Like today, I'm talking about Darjeeling 95K, one of the latest teas that has arrived now. All the fresh teas are in the selection, even the Jogwe Baozong, that's the last tea that has arrived. We are just missing the roasted dongding, which are coming in mid of June. Yeah, thank you very much, Terry, for reminding me. I think I will announce a class with this Baozhong for the fall. No more questions. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and use this opportunity to buy the teas so that you have them ready for the warm months of June, July, and August. Bye bye.